with the class and talent of these players, they can conjure up tries from anywhere. Anything can happen. Having said that, there's no doubt the battle is going to be waged in the middle, in the trenches. It'll be physical, it'll be brutal, the collisions will be violent. We'll watch, we'll cringe at the cruelty, but it's compelling viewing. You won't be able to look away. I think this game will only play out one way. It's a simple law of the jungle. Only the strongest will survive.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, super coaches around the world, the run home is here. We're almost there. It is the first league of head-to-head finals. And I think what a beautiful round to just like sum up the theme of the season, because this has been the season of carnage. I am your host, Obi. I'm coach of the One Last Fight. I might have to just change that to One Last Fight because Dan Tupou's going around again, baby. Re-signed for another 2 years. But we'll talk about the Roosters really soon, even though they're on the bye. There's a man who wants to talk about another team. Let's welcome him in. He's got some big news to share with the super coaches. He's called himself the Dirty Dom. It is the mad super coach of mad scientist of super coach, Big Strasbourno. What's going on?
Mad super coach of science, baby. Let's go. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We both got news. Do you want to share your news first, G?
Yeah, bro. I'll go first. I got married, baby. As a few of our war rumors would have seen. It was actually it was actually a pretty funny couple of days, to be honest.
Great wedding. Like, I think, and I haven't talked to anyone that didn't say it wasn't a great wedding. Like,
fucking love that, but it was still a fun day.
Love the venue, love the style of things. It was
crazy. Love that. Yeah, well, we just tried not to take things super serious. That was sort of our whole theme with it, of just like, fuck it, whatever happens, happens. So we tried to be a bit more chilled. We even tried doing that with the dinner thing, because it's like the whole first thing they reckon we need to have like the steak and chicken, and we said fuck that. Like, we got that banquet or whatever the fuck they called in, and we also got those pizza girls in. Which was dog, because I didn't get to have one pizza, and that was my input for that.
Well, dude, like, you know me, I had a couple of plates. I went back for seconds.
Did you? They still charged us for everyone, and we were like, but like none of the groom's party had a chance to get any, and they're like, oh, you get charged anyway, and we just paid it because fucking whatever.
Weddings, bro.
Like,
weddings.
Yo, man, you wanted some pizza, but bro, you also got some news for all the super coaches out there.
It's been a big week in the war room. Obviously, Jay's wedding on Saturday, and Wednesday morning, me and my wife, we welcomed a son. And the war roomers will absolutely love it.
Let's go.
We have named him Rue, as in little rooster. So R-U-E, Rue Benjamin O'Brien. He's a little wet. Mum and Bob both doing well. And I can't wait to submit his Supercoach team for next year. That is for sure, mate. So, it's been a good week. And then
he looks like a fucking rangy back rower, I reckon.
Oh, dude,
back rower on the edge.
8 pound 3, 53 centimeters. And just
I just had a little bit of a shake in him when I first saw him. I was like, ooh. A bit of a tingle down the back spine, baby.
Dude, that's the thing. Like, I'm looking at him and he's passing the fucking eye test, right? We don't need no stats on this kid. He's passing the eye test, baby. And arrived in time for Friday night, his first Roosters win. So big Rui, ready to go, mate. So big week in our lives, but also big week in Supercoach, mate. How did you go last weekend? How are you sitting this season? Give us a bit of an update.
Well,
Emperor of the Sea.
Yeah, the Emperor of the Sea, baby. As you know, my main team, what am I doing? Let's go.
How many fucking teams you got there, bro?
Look, Rosie needs some help with her team, all right? So I do a bit of legwork on that one, which is sitting about 2.5K. We're running for the 1K on that one. But in my actual team, 24,720. I actually went down 1,500 spots last week. But all those trades I use mid-season to get myself out of the predicament I'm in is coming back to bite, because with a lot of people, I got Haas, Katoa out, Dom Young, Manu come back last week for a shit score. But to be honest, I have slid in the Invitational. We will talk about it soon. So there's always a chance. Once you're in the game, there's always a sniff. So I'm taking that week by week and just trying to knock off the Invitational with that team. But you're flying, mate. You've been flying for a while. Why don't you give the guys an update on where you're at?
Yeah, so I changed my name, as you can see right below, out of Slipstream Obi, because like I've entered the Slipstream. I was just swimming in it. I was like surfing in it. Hand back. And after a bit of rough start, I sit 634th in the world. So very, very happy with that. Patience has been a key. I also put it down to not listening to any other podcasts, and I'm not saying other podcasts are bad. There's some great podcasters out there with great information, but I certainly found that, you got to trust your gut, right? Follow that fucking eye test, just like we always used to before all of these other influences and everything put these thoughts in our head. And feeling good, man. Pretty well positioned. The Carnage this week, even though I obviously have a lot of Roosters in my team, I was still sitting really pretty for this week. But then like Katoa being out, Firma being out, mainly those two, and then Haas getting injured last week's really kicked me in the guts. But the other side of that is that everyone else is in that position, right? Like maybe not Firma, but everyone's got Roosters. A lot of people have Gus Bus, and I haven't bought him in yet. I'm like waiting for next week. Everyone, like a lot of people have Eli Katoa. A lot of people bought in Haas. I bought in Haas, I think 3 weeks ago, but first week out of Origin. But a lot of people did trade him in over the last couple of weeks as well. He was looking good for the run home. So,
how many trades you got?
3. And 1 boost, baby. I think I'm taking that boost to death with me. So I've worked out the boost strategy as well. I think like save 2 for the end of the season, use 3 early, where I only use 2. But 3 trades left. I have heaps of depth. I have 22 strong players. It's just a fair few of them are Roosters, and then a fair few of them are fucking injured this week. So coming to this week with 16, because Danny Levi also hasn't been named, the GOAT himself. But yeah, look, well, that's the one thing. Well, we might as well move to the Invitational and the Obo Cup update, because that's one thing I'll just get out on air while we're talking about it. Absolutely filthy about the Obo Cup, my friend. Absolutely.
Ooh, tell me, bro, because I can't see it.
Filthy about
I have no knowledge what's going on.
I just have to see, how do I get to the ladder?
So you go to leagues.
Yeah.
Or you might not be able to see if you go to leagues and then scroll down and hit view league, you should see on the right hand side your top 8 will be put into like the brackets, and then your minor premiership would be under that.
Yeah. Got it here. So I have come for the 2024 season in the Obo Cup. I have come 9th on the ladder for the head-to-head. So I've actually missed the finals, but if you shift over to overall points, I am fucking first. So absolutely shit run of matchup. You're kidding me, aren't you? How do you be first overall, and not first overall by like a B stick, first overall by like a good 250 fucking points as well? And I've still missed the 8. And I tell you what, I put it down, and Tom Sangster, if you're fucking listening, I'm writing another angry email. The great glitch of 2024.
I remember. It's a great glitch.
And I lost to fucking Vittori by 8 points, where Smithy went out and scored like his normal 69, probably more like a 47. Would have been him. Then it would have easily been in the top 8. I would have been.
We know that.
I would have been 5th in the Obo Cups. But let's get into it, because want to give it a bit of an update. Felt My Johnny has absolutely dominated the Obo Cup. Is like heads and shoulders around everyone else on like as in like head-to-head points wise. So he goes up against number 4th, and that's Jazz Peter Farmer.
He's back. He's back again.
Great lad. Then coming up, the defending Birix, Daniel. He had a bit. He was there. Yeah, he was there, and there. He's kind of. I think me and him were all, like basically on equal points until I lost to old Cook Cheese Sandwich Sean, who come 3rd last week. Which really, not last week. No, I won last week. the week before that, which really fucked me over. But Birek's there. He took my spot at 5th, and he's up against Michael Huckster, the 13th Legion. Then this dog shit, Stephen Vittori. No, he is a good bloke. Friend of the show as well. He's in number 6, Wong Ha's Hole. And he's up against Mitchell. Reese robbed my son in 7. And then somehow the nimbly bimbly kitten won. James Duncan, the big Jimbo. He comes second in the Oberg Cup with Wham Bam, thank you, ma'am. A very original name, as I like pointing out.
He's an original man. That's what he does.
He's up against Cook Cheese Sandwich there in the Oberg Cup. Of course, there is the Bobby Linder, and I'm up against Twirly Woos. So good friend of the show, first person to win the Oberg Cup, the original winner. He won't be going past this week. Well, maybe he will, because this week's fucking rough for me. But his projected is 886, and my projected is 1069. Again, looking at the Oberg Cup, there is one person that has a higher projected than me. Absolutely filthy about it. But congratulations to all those gentlemen that are in the finals for the Oberg Cup. We will be keeping you guys updated. Obviously, a jersey, Supercoach ring coming your way. Super, super exciting. And guys, if you are first week of head-to-head, jump into Supercoach Championship rings. Give those guys a like on Facebook. I know I gave them a bit of a plug last week, but the ring is super impressive. They're super affordable. Take your league to the next level. Get in touch. And I'm talking to the owner there, and he reckons he can for your leagues. He'll get those in the post in like the next 1 or 2 days. So you'll basically order today. You'll have it by this weekend, guys. So really good people over there.
It's not even on the spot.
No, you're right, man.
What's the cost for something like that for the people? Do you have them off the head?
Yeah, good question. I do remember. Look, let's just have a look. They're under $100, I do believe. And there's
if you think about it, most leagues are 12 to 20 people, so it's not even 10 to $20 each. And you can have yourself a sick ring every year. Like everyone can chip in $10-20.
The thing is, you go down, you have a couple of frothies, like you put $50 in the pokes, and then that's your ring, right? So just jump it on there. I know he's been doing a bit of he knows the head-to-head finals are coming up. But honestly, absolute legend. Like, you just have a look at some of these styles of rings that you can get as well. Like you can get like MVP, you can get this ring that just had like number 1 and stuff like that. So look, it's super great. Jump on Supercoach Championship rings on Facebook or supercoachchampion.com. And you can jump on, have a look at that guy as well. But mate, invitational as well. Look, $99.99 Supercoach ring NRL. Tell him the War Room sent you. But there are a couple of different styles as well that he's got there. So you might want to let you know that you might want to just expand it out. He's got ones there. Super impressive, really, really good. But yeah, invitational, mate. Exciting final sort of thing.
Bro.
Hey, give us an update.
Just so before we move on, even if you have a 12-man league with all your mates, that's like $8.50 per person for a ring for the end of the year. Like,
what about Sarge? He's commenting. He's on YouTube. We love it, Sarge.
Yeah.
He's got us on the TV. His new little puppy's running around. Shout out to the Sarge. I know we give you plenty of shit, brother, but an absolute stalwart. We love having you here in the war room.
Anyone that knows that friends group. Anyone knows that friends group though. If you're not getting shit, then you're not part of the group. That's it. 100%. To the league that everyone's here about, and that is the Invitational. It's actually come down to a pretty cool finish. I did jump in a bit of a slipstream, slid into 7th spot. Sag has had a much better end of the year than I have, has missed the 8. Another big name that missed the 8 is actually my gun I brought in, which is Tim from the
Tim Williams.
Yeah, Tim Williams.
Tim Williams, Supercoach Playbook.
Boom, I listen to it every week. He's actually just missed. He hit 9th, so I wish I could give up my spot for him, but I'm in there representing. And it's really cool the way it turned out. So the whole concept was Sag versus myself, Gary Bertier versus Julius Campbell. Sag's actually got the 1st and the 4th playing off in the first round of the finals. My team has got the 2nd and the 3rd playing off. So either way, one of us is going to have one team each in the prelims. And then, interestingly enough, he's got the 6th place person. I'm coming 7th, so I'm versing one of his. I've got the 4th place person, and he's got the 8th. So We got pretty much. It's just an interesting field, to be honest. The way it sort of could work out is definitely having one from his team, one from my team in the grand final, which is what we would love to have. Big shout out to Nikki
also just confirming you beat SAG. Just confirming. Wonderful.
Squashed him, baby. He might have been finishing.
Of course,
No, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, of course, me at 9th, and I won't mention where old Gilbags came in the Oberg Cup. But it looks like the Oberg Cup's back, baby. You are relegated. You are promoted.
No. See, the way it works is whoever's from our team wins. So SAG can still win, and in a twist of fate.
Oh, true.
So SAG is cheering on his team. That's the whole thing. So it's a team versus team thing. So shout out to Nicky Berg, who is the favorite from a mile. He's 200 points clear of the next closest. He also, I think, has the top.
Have you got his live rank there, Bergie? I know he's in the top 1,000 as well. We got some good.
Overall rank 217.
Nice.
So he's absolutely killing it. Shout out to Nick Berg. Dom Holler. So he's the favorite to come in, but I've got my two heavy hitters from last year's Oberg Cup, Birdman's Bullets and Frank's Tanks, who actually did quite well. And I think they were in the Invitational last year and did quite well. I've also got a friend. Oh, bro, he's coming second. As always, he's just fucking consistent. What's
he overall? Because I know he was like 4th or 6th or something last year.
He slid out to this year he's still going great. 1,753. So
striking distance.
Yeah, sorry, that's Craig. That's Birdman's Bullets. He's that.
Great guy. Did a podcast with him earlier in the season. Great guy.
I remember watching that. He looks like an absolute weapon, just an old schooler. Frank the Tank's coming 2,700. So they're up there at the business end, as you know they will be. Friend of the show, Adrian, he Monster Nose Beers, great name. He's coming 2,700. So we got some big players in the Invitational, and it's coming down to the business end. We're all loading our weapons. We're all about to fire. Who's going to land the shots? We're going to find out this week. So tune in next week for some updates where we're at there. I'm not even sure what the prizes were for the Invitational. I think SAG was offering free gobbies on the corner on Caxton Street. So that's one for you guys out there. Other than that, I wasn't too sure what we actually put on the table there. So we'll have to look into that.
No problem. And of course, let's have a look at one last little update, Strasbourg, as I sit here. The war rumors. Let's have a look. It's Slippery Morris, more like Slippery Martin. He is number 1. He is leading. He's almost got it in the bag, I would say. He is almost 400 points clear of Crouchy, who's number 2. Obviously, Slippery, he is coming 5th overall rank. So we got a fair 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people there in the top 100 there that, tune into the war room. They love getting around it.
Can we confirm Slippery is the father of Josh and Brett Morris? Is that still up for debate? Is that a confirmed thing?
Maybe I thought he was the third twin.
Maybe okay. He's in the family. I like it.
Yes, which is good. Well, let's get into some Supercoach, mate. Lots to talk about this week. Obviously, some big outs. Payne Haas injured last week. We've been struck by the news today that also Eli Katoa from the Storm is out. Have you got any Storm insider or any news for us on that one, my friend?
You know, I'm the most hooked up person in Melbourne at the moment, and everyone is tight-lipped. No one's saying a word. They're a vault down there. That's why we're such a glamour club. That's why we're so good. From the little research I did do, there's no actual injury that's been disclosed. Is it just a resting? Maybe. Maybe he's got a little niggle. I'm pretty sure he's played most of the season this year. So Stormer in first place. Maybe Bellamy's just going to start.
Versing South can't actually make it. They're a fucking shambles over there at the moment. So who knows?
Bellamy's going to start rushing in some guys. that are carrying the niggles. Because what's he played? Look at this. He's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pretty much the whole fucking season. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's just freshening him up. Penrith next week.
I think the only game he's missed was that HIA that he got, like, kind of thing. So, like, so missed sort of like 2 games over that because it was 2 games.
Been huge for us too. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hughes gets rested in the next couple of weeks as well. So maybe even after that Panthers game. So keep an eye out for that because Bellamy is known to rest him. That's where Trent's going to come in handy. So, but yeah, tight lip down there, baby. But hopefully it's just arrested.
Yeah, Trindle, Braden Trindle also out for those people. It's the first time that Big Bo has not made me firmer. Thought he was backing up after a lovely 90 last week. But he's out, just a little knee niggle. Apparently, he will be back. But of course, that's Carnage for those Supercoach people that have had him from the start of the season. He's just been hard to trade out, old Big Bo. He just every time you score a couple of fucking like 47s, 48s, and you're like, all right, time to go, and then whack 75, and you're like, okay, you could stay around for another week. But back, I think, where is he? Yeah, 598, 700. So like at 450k, he went back down to 500. He's back almost over. What's his break even? Back all over 600. 39 for when he comes back next week. AJ Brimson, 18th man. Dane Laurie is back for the Panthers. So those people that made that trade a couple of weeks ago, if you still held him, he's back for you. Ezra Mam out. Payne Haas out. Brisbane Broncos out of the top 8 and the finals. Mathematically impossible.
Heavy said he might put Walsh to 5-8 to save the season. So he's got something in the back book.
Well, Kevin, like one thing about the fucking Broncos and the sad, and everyone knows that I'm not a Broncos lover. But to make the grand final and then miss the 8 with an actual better team than the year before, awful. But one thing, it's kiss on the fucking dick for a schedule. Like I tell you what, like all these people like rest players and stuff in round 27. Broncos, of course, have the bye. Not only do they have a 7-day turnaround almost every single fucking week on a Friday night, and you miss the 8. Suck shit, Broncos.
And one that gets me, and I actually like the Broncos, but one that gets me is Magic Round. They get an away game, which I find hilarious. I know Manly asked for it, but just on a fairness level, why don't you make that one of their home games? Why would you do that? Like, that one gets me every year, but
unbelievable.
I will stick up from a bit. They are missing Herbie Farnworth and Tommy Flegler, so I do think their team last year was better than this year, personally, in myself. I think they had Cable last year as well, so probably a better team last year.
No,
maybe not. Not at all, baby.
Not at all. Right. Reece Walsh, Adam Reynolds, another year together. Oh, that's not what they were telling us at the start of the season, mate. Ruben Cotter back in the big Cots. And I will say for mine, Sags, $100 bet. After a dismal, what did he score with that early HIA? It was something like 30.
He got like 20, 10 or 20.
He got 10. He ended up getting down to 10. I'm Sags under 60. I'm over 60 average. With that 10, he's 59.8 average. So so he'll be back, babe. But he's been like sitting like 62, then 63, 65. Like he's in climbing. So I've been feeling really good about this bet. So we better come back with a fucking couple of 60s, boy. I need to pump those out, Cots.
You've been over the moon about this bet. You've been
this is why I love players like Ruben Cotter. You just get them in at the start of the season. You just leave them there. They do a fucking job for you. Ticker the size of Farlat, mate.
I could have done with 3 or 4 Ruben Cotters in my team. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Tavita Pangai Jr. is back for those people that have him. RTS is back to the centers. Asako has been named, but obviously in doubt. And Cody Walker, has also been named for the Rabbits. That's a little bit of the ins and the outs sort of thing of the team list Tuesday, mate. Let's get to the Carnage, and I think let's start with Payne Haas. Really, really popular. Someone that a lot of people have. Like it'll be hard to tell true ownership now because I think people would have been trade happy. But mate, I know you've got him. What are your plans? What are you thinking here? And what's the feel?
Well,
So still in 26% of teams, yeah, and then that would have been higher before we sort of got to today.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Me personally, I'm in a little bit of a pickle. I made a gamble on my front row a few weeks ago, and I brought in half, and I got him in Fanua Blake, and on my bench I've only got Lolo and Michaeli. So very shit depth. Lolo is injured. Michaeli is 29 average, 258,000 bench, or not even in the team for the Cowboys. So I'm in a predicament this week. We're in the Obeg Invitational. I need to win. My opponent, I'm pretty sure, has Fanua Blake and Haas. I think so. I meant Haas, Fanua Blake and Tarpany. So I am kind of call on your expertise, and it can help the war rumors as well, is which way can we sizzle? Even after trading out Haas, he's dropped to like nearly 600,000. And I think that's a big key thing. I think he's only worth 626,000 now. So he's not a big moneyer. And for example, I've only got 30,000 after I took a risk last week and brought in Brian. I can't sell Haas and bring in Tarpany. I'm actually $1,000 short.
Oh, I was gonna say, what, you can't do that with that, like, because it works out if you got 30 grand there.
But well, no, you need. I've got. Yeah, maybe a bit less than 30 grand. I am $1,600 or $700 short of getting it.
Oh, that's
just livid, bro. So he's option one.
You can't afford Adam Fanua Blake either, obviously, as well. Hey,
I've already got Adam Fanua Blake, so thank fuck I got one locked in. It's just my second one, so I can either take Michaeli's, 10 to 40 type range score, most likely 10 to 20.
Have you got any other jewels there, like, kind of thing? Because like Jack DeBellin's probably the one that like stands out to me as like pretty safe.
Actually, now you mentioned that, I could trade out one of my second rowers for a dual front rower. Like, then again, I can just buy him in front row for Haas. What am I talking about? No, don't worry about that. So here's my option.
The other thing to think about, if you just left Haas there, who would be your AE? Like, do you know what I mean? It's not bad to have, like, at this stage of the season, I don't mind having a free loop option, knowing that, like, because you've probably nuffed a few players out. You should be coming in with a strong, like, 9, 20, 21. Yeah, you might have a fucking, someone like a Danny Levi sitting there, but a lot of the cheapies, like if you look at that Casey McLean, he's scoring pretty well. Like my other one that's still fucking hanging around is New White, so he's sort of like my AE nightmare, really. But then he's on the bye this week. Who would be your AE?
So it would be between Smithies and that would be, or probably Katoa, because he's the one I could take him out for. Not Katoa, sorry, Pierce Paul. So I'd have Smithies. Michaeli. He'd be the one because he wouldn't be the one I play. Sorry. So it'd be Smithies and Michaeli would be my AE. So technically, I'd be getting Michaeli's score anyway. I might as well just play Michaeli, to be honest.
That's the thing. I wouldn't be. Like, how many trades you got left?
Two in the bank.
2. I just leave it as it is, dude, because I am suspecting more Carnage, right? Like, kind of thing.
Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking. But let's put the war room and play a bit of front row roulette.
Yeah. For me, if you can afford Mitch Barnett,
that's number one.
That's the one, especially if you've got a dual nuff or someone in your second rows that you can play around with there. If you've still got like Terrell May sitting there, because I know Hargraves is due back next week, but like T May, I think he's still good for at least 40, right? Like
he's the one I took out. He's the one I took out for Haas. So that's where I'd say I made the big gamble, because I just figured all the Roosters would come back in. Yeah. And he would go back to his 30 to 50 sort of range at the start of the year.
Calculated gamble.
For the money that he was on at the time, it was only like 700 grand or something, or 7. It was something pretty high. So I was like, I can cash that in straight to Haas, make money. But I will say that, I'm like a killer whale. That is my spirit animal. And we have very long memories. And back just before Origin 1, I did pitch to the War Room Mitch Barnett to come my front row. And you, Obi, fucked me by saying it's too risky and you didn't think it was that great or something at the time. And
because of Origin, like he was on the cusp. He was 18th man. Like you're like losing there.
He's going on
Times are changing. Origin's baby. Times are changing.
But if I'd have put him in then, oh my god,
yeah,
that's where it comes back to what you said, and it wasn't just you that said that. I actually listened to another podcast, and like you say, don't take all your information from us or always other podcasts. If you're thinking something. Obviously, there's a lot of great information you can get, and it's always good to take it. But if you're feeling something in your head, take your shot on your player because no one fucking knows what's going to happen again. No one knows who's going to fall into the line. And if you're feeling a weird player, have a crack at them because when that comes off, it's a much, much better feeling than if you just pick someone that everyone else is jumping on. So
yeah. See, the other way. So my pick out of I would still choose a Tapane over AFB. I think that Canberra, he's going to play big minutes. They're on that cusp of the 8th, like they're in the 8th. Like Ricky's going hard for it, right? So obviously scored a 98 last week, but it's just more the minutes. He's busy. He seems to be dodging injuries, and I like that bench for him. We're adding Fanua-Blake, like New Zealand are lesser down the 8. They're worried about it. If only Sean Johnson's last game's coming up, but that's in round 26, right? So we still.
But sometimes you just think Fanua-Blake isn't in it. Like last couple of weeks have been great. Like before last week, the 2 weeks before that, he got two tries, I think, and scored 198. So it's like, thank fuck. But there was a couple of weeks before that where you were sort of like, ooh. This could get really bad, and people were thinking about jumping off Fanua-Blake, and I think that part of it comes down to him, maybe not having his full want to be in New Zealand, whereas Tarpany loves being in the green, loves Canberra, loves everything about it. So I'd probably with you. I'd probably lean towards Tarpany over Fanua-Blake at the moment. You did mention DeBellin before, mate. Would he come this series?
Yeah, I changed my mind. I probably JDB's not too bad, but the other way I'd probably look is I might have a look at who's replacing Haas at the Broncos, right? So you got Corey Jensen, they're under 500, but I'd probably even have a crack at Xavier Willison for under 400. I'd say he's
it's on notepad. That was literally the next I was going to say. Would you
I'd have a crack at him. But if you also have a duel and you can move that around and find another one, I also don't mind Carrigan as a bad shout, as in to get those extra minutes, get that extra responsibility at 536 there for the Bronx. Just because you just know Carrigan's not giving up, right? He'll fucking bleed. Cowboys, Eels, Dolphins are coming up, over the next one. So. Who's to say, he'll be popping offloads. Broncos are going to want to put something together for their fans at the end of the season.
Bro, in Rosie's team, I have Willison on my bench and literally have not even thought about a trade in front row. I've been way more than comfortable just putting him straight in for Haas this week. And I might look at it next week when when the Broncos are on the bye. So I think if you have Willison in your team or you do want to make some money and go down, because he's only worth 387,000. He should be getting you at least 40 to 50s, but he has that potential to go 60 plus because he just has that style game. So you can make 200,000 from Haas down to someone like him, and I wouldn't be upset. Another person on my list, and this is the last person on my list actually. He does have a bye in round 5, but I think with where they are on the ladder, trying to fight for a top 4 spot, do you reckon Ruben Cotter, your man, at 600,000, you can make?
It's never a bad idea to get the big cots in, right? Because he's just ticker for days. You know what you're getting each and every week. It is very rare, as we've seen from his season average of 59.8. It's rare that he doesn't score close to 60, and because he's got an offload in him, because he's around there and he plays big minutes, sort of thing, especially with Tamalolo out at the moment. Love that.
So in the last since round 9, so in the last 12 rounds, he has stayed pretty much between an average of 62 and 58. Like, he just belts out consistent 60 type scores. Sometimes he might get 50, sometimes he might get 70, but he's just always in that sort of realm. And I just think someone like that, if you just want to put someone in there, the only thing that worries me with him is he's got the round 25 bye, and that's when I'm like, ugh. I probably would have went Haas to him in my team if he didn't have that bye, because I'll be in the same predicament in a couple of weeks' time.
It really shows you. It really shows you. It's like a line from the NFL, right? But like the best statistic, the best attribute is availability, right? Here's some stats for you, and this one here is for you, Sarge. If you're still looking, top Supercoach scorer of this year is actually James Tedesco. So, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. But I found it quite interesting that Dylan Brown from the Eels is the 12th highest Supercoach scoring player this year.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that, eh?
No, not at all. Jermaine Asako at number 9.
Oh, that's a good. I wouldn't think it's that high.
You know what I mean? Mitch Barnett's moved himself into number 7. Big Koala.
Oh, another one you wouldn't think that.
Yeah,
no, he's not top 10. No, he's not.
Kaloa Matangi is 10th. Like,
no, he's not. This is ridiculous.
Total points. Like, it's quite and out of all of the halfbacks, out of all of the 5'8s, the prince that was promised,
Karaz is 4.
number 14. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't knock Karaz, bro. Like, no, you can't knock Karaz. He's just solid. It's just like that solid, pumping them out. Jesse Ramey. A lot of
people could have started.
Jesse Ramey in 17.
That's actually interesting. A lot of people could have started the year with the Tedesco, Drinkwater, Holmes, Karaz, even like Katoa, probably not Barnett, but Fafita, where he was injured to start the year, Azarko.
Dave Fafita's done pretty well to be 8th overall top scoring player. And he missed the first. Yeah, pardon?
This right here, number 13, bro. Has he not just been everyone's fucking
that's you. T-May, Terrell May, number 13.
13! Right? What a weapon. That is so...
Also, quite quietly,
11.
Brian Kelly on 20 and 20th. Closet, right? So, and Keon Kaloa-Matangi, number 10. Yeah, it blows my mind. Have a little bit of a look at that. Just to close out that front row chat, it does seem like, look, we've got 12.7% of people trading in Joey Tapine this week. So, look, something you can look at. Obviously, if you want to zig while others are zagging, only 1.9% people trading in Adden, but I think he's already pretty popularly owned. So, if you want to stay with the pack, probably Tapine is your answer there in the front row forward. As for the top traded in, top traded out,
give him one left wing. Give him one left wing. Do you got one off the top of your head?
What? Front row forward?
Yeah, if Obi's going a bit away from the pack, if you're zagging, I know everyone's pretty much got Fanua Blake. Most people are bringing in Tarpany to partner him.
Yeah, my left wing is to have a look at your AEs and don't fucking waste a trade in that wasteland in the front row forward, like kind of thing. All the ones I already said, like really like Carrigan, I think he'll absolutely step up, and then Xavier Wilson just on a discount, and he'll do a job for you, right? Like kind of thing. Nice. If you've got Team A there, man, just wait. He'll still pump out 40s for you for the rest of the season, if not more. Do you know what I mean? Like the bloke didn't really get that much game talent last week, and fucking what is 60? Like,
yeah, patience is a huge key. And one thing we say it every year, and I never listen, but fuck, this is when you would have loved to be able to bank. Like, let's say if you got 10 trades coming into this week, how you wouldn't give a fuck about just trading out a couple of front rows. Like, you know what I mean? You had 10 trades and 2 boosts, you'd be like, fuck this, bang, 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 and you'd be set. So patience is definitely key, especially most of us who have that 2 to 5 sort of range of trades. Front row is probably not the biggest.
Well, I really should be coming into this week with 4. I just thought, look, I've had a son. You had a wedding. Last week was literally one of the best weeks of my life, I reckon, as hands down. Best mate got married. I had a fucking son, and I just thought, look, luck's on my side. So I decided. And the other thing is, I looked at it. I looked at the matchups last week, and then I went through and I looked at all the top teams' matchups to round 24, round 25, round 26, and I did. I saw Storm against the Dragons. I saw Panthers against. Who did Panthers play? Fucking shit game.
No, it was fucking.
But then also Cowboys versus Tigers as well. And I just thought, like, this is for me, this is the week to fucking make a few moves. So bought in drink water, obviously Master Stroke. That worked out quite well for me with 135.
Nice, bro. I know people at home would have been
Nice,
eating this
yeah.
up. Yeah.
And
Well,
then I
interesting
bought
enough, bro.
Bought in Munster, thinking you said fucking flog the Dragons, and they bloody did yous in.
Well, interesting enough is Sag and I were like trying to say in the chat, you've been the most patient out of us all year with just like holding like those sort of trades you haven't been doing. You've just been holding steady. And then the other hand, we were also like in the same sentence, but who the fuck are we to give you advice this year? We've been fucking turning wrong corners everywhere. So
all I needed
thought,
was one of them to come off, and it did, like, kind of thing. Just,
but I thought that was very un-Obi like the 5'8" trade of Munster. I thought you haven't really been pushing those this year. You've been pretty patient. I thought
Munster, this is the thing about the one last flight, baby, and the one last flight. We're about to take flight. We are gonna fucking keep fighting. The Munster was almost like the thing about Munster are like not only dragons, but then they got a fucking depleted vermin, the Rabbitohs this week. So
don't get me wrong, the money man will come through.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like everyone's like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have traded in Munster, Gelvin outscored. Fucking bruh, you thought it was for this last week, it's for this week. You know, he's
that was sagging about time, mate.
180 Munster. He's actually my VC this week, baby. So right.
Was that meant to be Sag and I? That whole
No. That was more the listeners and the general public. I was actually looking
that
for
was
you.
definitely Sag and I. That's what
it was only until I went forward and I had a look, because like if you look at like the matchups, there's not really any blowout. The only other blowout, there's two blowouts I could see, and it's Manly versus West Tigers in round 26. And that brings me into it. That brings me into my next question for you, which Kalen Ponga, mate. A lot of people have had round 23 where we sit as the round to bring Kalen in. And I put it to you, and I want your opinion. I am not seeing anything from the Knights for me to bring in Kalen Ponga for a possible 1 week play. Look, I know he's a superstar. I love having him in my team, but obviously kicks goals. But then he goes into Sharks without Trindle, I suppose, then the Rabbits. But I'm just not seeing. And then like Gold Coast Titans, they're no fucking slouches, right? Round 27, the Dolphs. If you're still into it and you bring in Ponga, well, Wayne Bennett teams, like, you know, they're no slouches either. I don't see. I don't see it. Where do you sit on Kalen Ponga as bringing him in this week? Where do you sit on that, my friend?
Well, you know, my Pizza Hut alumni, he messaged me throughout the week. That'd be the Wood Duck, and he actually is thinking of bringing in Ponga. He's tossing up between Ponga and Turbo, and my exact response is pretty much what you said. I just can't trust the Knights. Like, I watched the Knights play, and I'm just not enthused at all.
No.
I kind of have regret of bringing in Marzu with the pack a few weeks ago, just because I watch him play and I just don't like it. So I wouldn't be bringing in Ponga. I don't like the Newcastle team. I don't like how they're still switching their halfback this time late in the year. I think that smells a huge of desperation to me, and not knowing, well, there's something going on in that locker room that you're changing your half.
They've been changing it around all year, and the fucking thing. The thing about it is those halves are playing for their position, right? Those halves are playing for their contract, so they're less inclined to give the ball to the fucking Ferrari. They want to do it all themselves, and like you've got this Ferrari sitting out the back that's not doing it. I don't mind the Marzu trade in and stuff like that. It's just I'm not seeing it from the Knights, and basically where Knights sit, like. Yeah, look, they technically can still make the 8, but it's a bit of a reach, right? So like the boys have something to play for, but then I don't know, Tigers have pride to play for. I'm seeing a lot from Tigers, like Lockie Galvin at 18, running around and directing that team. I'm loving what I see from that fucking kid. Plus, like they've got all these young guys that are just like trying to make a bit of a name for themselves. Benji's got them like all right. I know they're a bit of a fucking shambles, but if old mate wasn't sent off against the Cowboys, which was perfect for my drink water play, I think probably
that saved you.
He was on 38. He was on 38 when he got sent off for 30 minutes to go. Ends up scoring 135. I was very, very worried on a Thursday night holding my son at home. It was a bit, oh, here we go. But, Big Rui got me home. So happy days. That's where I sit on the night's play. Look, obviously Supercoach isn't won by being safe. I don't mind the play. I'm much more inclined to play Drinkwater this week. I think that who are the Cowboys got again? I think, is it the Raiders? No, that's next week. Oh, they got the Broncos. So I think like little brother, big brother at Dairy Farmers as well. Oh, 1-300 Smiles. No, what is it? What do they call that fucking Country Bank Stadium up
Country
there now?
Bro, do you know I'll be at Country Bank in a couple of weeks, Storm versus Cowboys.
Oh, get out of town. You guys going up from early?
Yeah, we're going to drive up and spend a couple of days in town. We'll go to the game. So I'll get to watch Puppy just slice straight through.
Hit the mad cow after the game, brother. That's where it's at. All right, that's where it's at.
Go to the casino for a night.
That's where the players will go. Yeah, are you staying at the Ville?
No, I don't know where we're staying. Yeah, we haven't even booked a place up there.
But dude, the Ville's pretty affordable and like awesome pool area, great buffet, obviously pokies for days. So yeah, I know Council quite well. Let me know. All right, that's the Kalen Ponga play. Mate, one of the other things I just wanted to talk about as we talk the run home, because really, what we want this episode to be about is you probably don't have that many trades if you're listening. You don't have the trades for this expansive, interesting style of like super coach that, oh yeah, I've definitely got to trade this person out. I've definitely got to trade this person in. Mate, just rattle off some of your, all right, say you had 5 trades left. Who are some of the targets that you would be targeting just to really put yourself in the absolute best position to either come home strong in the overall game or, of course, win those head-to-head battles? And if you want a second to think about it, I'll fire up a little bit.
Well, no, the problem is with these questions, I normally dismiss players that are already got. So I do have to say off the bat, Nathan Cleary, I think, just has to be in your team.
Has to. Yeah, absolutely.
He's 900,000, but he's one of them players that can kill you. So I think if you tried to anti-pot him, I think, again, I don't know if they're going to rest him because he's had so much time off this year. I think you have to try and find a way to get him in. If it's your strategy,
they might rest him the second last or the last game or something like that, but they want to get a bit of match fitness into those leagues. They'll have to test the hammy out.
But fuck, his form is good at the moment. It's fucking crazy.
Unbelievable.
Let's have a look at the other one. I'd almost have to say, and this is another player I'm worried could get rested at the end of the year. I know he's a bit older, but the last 4 matches, Parramatta, Gold Coast, Canberra, Souths. I don't know if you're resting that Souths game, but I'd say that's Tedesco. He's just been top scorer for a reason. I just have to bring up 126, 149, 116, 151, 112, 135. He's cracked 134 times this year, so that's another person in your team that I think I wouldn't say any of them matches overly hard. Most of them teams are either no chance of the 8 or probably won't be have a chance of 8 by the time they verse the Roosters there anyway. So Tedesco, them two I think are massive, mate. Do you got any on the back of them two? I've got a couple of others.
Yeah, look, I think that you play the players at a form. Like that's why, like, if you can afford Mitch Barnett, fucking playing some great football, like he
90 round average last 3 and 5.
On fire. Tell you who else is a young chap, young goer who's on fire. Big Maxi Platt. People thought moving him to hooker would slow him down. Mate, it's scientifically proven. This is a fact. Yes, he has a larger heart than fucking Farlap. And, like, you put a human next to a horse.
That is not easy to do, man. That is
really like the dude. I think Tom Turbo, he's got the Warriors. He's got the Warriors coming up in a couple of this week he plays the Canberra, and I think that's going to be a bit of a gritty game, right? Which is why I'm not rushing him back in my team. I'm happy to have Drinkwater versus the Broncos this week. But he is looking good, and Manly are looking good. So you want a bit of a slice of Manly there. And the other one, mate, not to bring it back to the Roosters because I know I am biased, but I think Angus Crichton, like season best form, is playing 80 minutes. And Rooster's getting a few troops back as well. So those would be a few that I like, a few that I'm thinking of.
I know you went in last week. Sorry, I was going to say, I know you went in last week, but 5'8" and Cameron Munster, and let's a double barrel question. If you're not going to bring in someone like Munster, I know a lot of people have done what I've done, and they've got.
Can you believe Cam Munster, as we sit, is 535,000? My days.
I could bring that's what I'm saying. I could sell either Jai Gray or Galvin and bring in Munster for either almost the same amount of money, or I make money. That's the crazy thing. So is he what you would call a have to?
No. I think last week was probably the time to bring in money because you got the Dragons. We all found out how that turned out, but that could have been anything, right? And they've also got the Rabbitohs this week, but then you've got the Panthers next week, and then, God forbid, you're first on top of the ladder by about 4 points. I very much doubt that he plays against the Dolphins. I'd say they might rest him coming into sort of that finals, because then you've got Dolphins, Cowboys, Broncos, right? So there's no real special matchups there or anything there. I don't mind the play, but when you're short on trades, if it wasn't for the 2-week trade last week, I'd be super happy. I've got Jaden Campbell as well, right? So a little bit different for me. But super happy with Lockie Galvin. He's pretty safe, kind of thing. Finds a way to score points, and he's always involved in something. Again, just ticker, right? So I like Galvin. Definitely that Cleary shout that you said. I think that's a big one. Ola Kawatu, I know a few people traded him out before he got suspended in that last Origin game. But I don't mind him. I also like Yeo for a really solid 70 points every week, which a lot of people don't have. Well, Dave Fafita's got to fucking pull his finger out, but Jaden Campbell's poison outside Dave Fafita, right? Because Jaden Campbell always wants to do the long pass. He doesn't play him right. If Foran was out there, that's why Bo Firma's been going well, because Firma is just feeding him fucking golden pills. Foran is feeding Firma golden pills all the time. AJ Brimson named 18th man this week. Maybe cheeky, sneaky play. But as always, I think
he's still going pretty good, man.
I think he updated really well. I think he finished on 40.
He's averaging 81 points. He's the 8th highest point scorer of the year. I think he finished on 59. I think maybe that's his predicted score. Let me have a look here. So he finished on 59. Before that, 88, 76, 52. I know you say Gus Bus, but Gus Bus has a 50 in him. You know what I mean? He's not all fucking super. So, he besides those 250s he's had, these lowest scores since round 6 was 81. So since round 6, he's gone 86, 126, 84, 98, 89, 86, 81, 84, 52, 76, 88, 88, 59. Fuck me. I may just told myself bringing Fafita in my shitty team. Fuck me dead. That's pretty gangster.
The thing is, he makes it in 2 plays, right? If you can't afford To'o, I tell you who's a poor man, To'o, Taruva. Think outside the box. Obviously, Sharks
Storm's right edge is I was going to say Storm's right edge is pretty weak, and they got them coming up in a couple of weeks time.
Trindle being injured obviously sucks. It takes a little bit out of the Sharks, so you could have a flyer on Ramian or Katoa. Not that I like them that much, but
Iro's been good, bro. I'm not sure if you still got him, but he's just
been kind of held. But you got to make those decisions, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to get them all right, but he's been a good hold in Rosie's team for me because he's just pumping out consistent 50, 40s when he doesn't score any attack. 80s when he scores attack.
When the Saints come marching in. When the Saints come marching in. I want that. Lomax in my team. When they verse the Bulldogs, go Cushok, Parramatta, and Canberra. When the Saints come marching in. Saki Lomax, you could have a little play. You could have a little play at Zach Lomax, which not Not so bad matchups coming up.
Bro,
Obviously,
I
kick
literally
goal.
started following the St. Helens women's team because I don't like the Dragons that much for them. So I followed the St. Helens team and the St. Helens women's team, particularly the women's team because they've been winning a lot. And that song comes up on my Facebook now, just so I can listen to it because it's so funny.
Oh, we're the sex. Oh, we're the sex. How much?
Speaking of, what do you think of some of the best ones at the moment? I think the Bulldogs one isn't too bad. I forgot how it goes, but I think it was like, the dogs are having a party, the dogs are having a party, the dogs are having a party, and Canberra's in the trash. And I'm pretty sure they just say whatever team they beat's in the trash.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, I think.
Shout out to Doggies fans. You have stayed patient and are being rewarded. You love to see it. Same as Titan fans. Like, it's fucking been a rough run for you. Like, so you look, may not make the 8 this year, but surely you got to come in the next season and you're feeling good about it. Tino's back. Re-signed Dave Fafita. AJ Brimson hopefully fit.
The mad scientist death has another year.
Keo, like preseason with Kinney most likely playing fullback because that fucking kid's a freak. Like,
do they tell Brimo what do they do? Do they put him back to? Because I know Campbell's not great for Fafita, but he's been good for Titans. He's just having that X factor there for them. Desi needs to keep Foran playing for as long as he can because as long as Foran can straighten that team up and keep them like level-headed, you bring back a Tino in that front row rotation. Kinney and Campbell are just so hard to deal with, and the outside backtracks are pretty good. Like even that winger,
he's great. What about he needs 2 tries? I think did he score?
No, he got it on the weekend. Yeah.
Oh, he got it. Yeah. First player since like 1966.
40 in his first 40.
Yeah, amazing. Like, and he's just got speed, but then also like as we just pointed out, I think 12th top scoring player. And I know Sag's a real big fan of him. So is Gill. They absolutely love a piece of Brian Kelly. And 20th top scoring super coach player, right? Like kind of thing.
Still crazy for Brian
Kelly.
Yeah,
Philip Sammy, actually friend of the show as well. No slouch. So look, could be some good times coming up for a couple of those bottom and like even Tigers, like fuck that, they're dismal. But what we've actually seen Luai, and I'm not a Luai fan, right? Like, but what we actually saw Luai do while Cleary was, while Cleary was off, we actually seen that he can direct a team about, he can run around, like kind of thing. So
I think he brings so much off
for the game
as well. Like he brings so much to a locker room. The stuff they talk about, like, is crazy. I've been listening to that Levels podcast with Willie Mason and Horror.
#1 NRL podcast,
and it's good. Bro. It's actually really good because it's that. Devin Kemp's gone more like about footy. Like these guys are definitely about footy, but Mason's just like he's pretty funny. Like he's an out there character.
Big Willie, Roosters legend, by the way.
Yeah, he loves the Roosters, bro. He talks about them. He talks about the Bulldogs. One of his big sayings is pretty much what you said before: the best ability is availability. Like it's like what he says, and he just has some weird like out there stuff. And him and Horror click pretty good. We're going on a tangent, but that brought me to what I heard on their podcast, whatever the fuck we're talking about. But either way, their podcast has been good.
Dave Fafita, bring him in, Jay. That's how this all started.
Bro, his stats are crazy.
That's sort of a bit of a wrap on like where we're thinking, and of course if you're in your head-to-head finals this weekend, start of them, if it is do all or end all, go fucking hard. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're sitting at like 10,000 overall, then what are you worried about? Like head-to-head is where your focus needs to go. So burn those fucking trades, like nuff some motherfuckers out, get some fucking cash up. Bring in some guns for these like head-to-head finals and try and win this week. If you're up against overall players that are playing overall, a lot of them are actually probably going to be hurting. So you're in a really good position to win this first week of overall, knock some of those top dogs off, or at least get the week off and move into preliminary. If you're in your cashies or you do anything, and of course, grab an NRL Supercoach Premiership ring. Mate, before we get to questions, there's a couple of interesting plays in captains that I just wanted to get your vibe on, right? Like, who are you captaining this week, and who do you like?
Let me go back to my team.
Well, before we get to captains, what trades are you doing?
Well, I don't know if I'm doing any trades. I've got 2 left. I think I might just cop Michaeli's probably 20 to 40. What I was just doing then was actually going to look at my opponent's team and look at because I agree with what you're saying. If you need to burn the trades to beat them, then burn the trades to give yourself the best chance. Same time, if you look at their team and they've got a lot of injuries and even 2 trades wouldn't really, help them out and you're not doing too bad, maybe don't use the trades on your team. Maybe if you think you can get by without doing it, you save them for next week's match or, the week after. So I'm looking at either no trades or I'm trading Payne Haas out to someone. So that's me, mate. I did have this weird thing in my head about going in Munster for either Galvin or Gray. I don't think I'll do that. I think I just want to hold my trades for Carnage that's going to come up. So I think looking at John's team, he's in a worse point than me with injuries. I don't know what trades he's got. So he could get to better, but I think I might just go head-to-head with him and see what happens because the Invitational's the only one I'm looking at.
Yeah.
What are you looking at for trades?
Just because yes, it's great to win your head-to-head, but obviously where I am at, I want to get to that top. I want to be top 500, right? That's where I want to finish the season. My trades are set for the rest of the season, dude. Basically, so I will be trading Haas to Tapani this week. Just because otherwise, I literally have 15 players on the field, so I need to at least get to 16. I literally need to get to 16.
15.
Dude, it's it's tough. I've lost Katoa, I've lost Firma, I've lost Ellie Katoa, and I lost Haas, right? So I come into this week plan. I was like, I'm
plus we got a few Roosters.
Well, I've got all of those Roosters coming back, right? So you got James Tedesco, Dom Young, Connor Watson. Who else have I got in there? I don't know. 2 others, T-May.
Yeah, then you want to bring Brighton.
I got New White, so that hurts. I can't even fucking get him on the field this week. But other than that, mate, my team is full of superstars, right? I got To'o, Karaz, Val, Garrick. Super happy with my center wings, Munster, Jaden Campbell, Hughes, Cleary. Sort of thing. So I'm really happy with where my team's sitting. It's just a couple of those last minute things. So I'm going to bring Tapani in for Haas. And then next week, that's it. I'm trade free, baby. And then I could just sit back, just adjust my team, watch it, because I'll be going Drinkwater to Turbo next week. And also I will probably be going either T-May or Sean Lane, depending on or the price, to Gus Bus for the run home, and that's me done. Which still I have heaps of depth.
2 trades.
Pardon? If I trade in Tapani this week, then I'll have 2 trades left. Yeah,
and a boost, baby.
And a boost. Yeah, I'll take that to the grave, baby. So, top 500 is my goal. Man, I'm just having a look at my matchup in my big cashy. The motherfucker's sitting 25,000. And he's probably going to whoop my ass this weekend. All right.
I thought you meant that was the pool of money for your cashy.
No. That's my big cashy. I think that's $3,000 if I win it.
Yeah.
But in another couple of cashies.
The good thing about where you are, you're probably in good spots to get second chances.
My other 2 cashies, I'm top 4. So even if I lose this week, second chance, Roosters are back. I'm sitting pretty, right? So that's sort of my trade. So who are you thinking for captains, mate? I'll go mine while you have a little bit of a look. On VC, I've got a free VC right this week because that's the other thing that takes me down to fucking 15. Well, I'm 16 now with Tapani and Haas, but I would have 17 playing with fucking Danny Levi. I was asking for him not to be named, and in the win week I need the GOAT. He's not named, so I miss out on my 15 points from
12 points.
15 points from Danny Levi. But the other thing is I've got some difference makers
with the try,
and I'm going to get in with a Munster 162.
That's what you need, right? One of these guys just to go back.
All I need, great captain. He doesn't have Karaz. He doesn't have To'o. He doesn't have Val.
You love to see that. That's
he's got Dave Fafita. He's got Ola Kawatu over me, which I'm a little bit worried about. He's got Reece Robson as well. But I reckon it'll be close.
He's got a very consistent team there. Those players are definitely looking to that 50, 60 to, 80, 90 sort of range. Whereas your players are looking anywhere from that like 40, 50 to that 150 plus. Like they can really sink them down, those three. So
yeah, like he's projected this DL Raiders guy and the big one. He's got to do some changes because he hasn't adjusted his team, obviously. But I'm still projected to beat him. As for my the other more important cash, I think it's like $800 is for the winner. I'm 1,069 projected, and he's 855. So hopefully, you should have that big dog there. No.
Did you say your set a win? Your captain, vice captains?
Hey,
did you say your vice captain and captains?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Cool. Sorry. No, I just got engrossed in what mine were. But mine are,
VC Munster into C Cleary.
Yes, I didn't think you did. Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Also, depending on how the first few games go, I could go a Drinkwater against the Broncos, like at Queensland Country Bank. I don't mind that. Like, I don't mind that little play. As for other ones in there, like you could get desperate to go someone like To'o or someone like that, or a Karaz against the Dragons. But I'd probably be leaning like Saturday afternoon, 5:30, up against the Broncos. But also Friday night, 8:00, Combank Stadium, like the battle, right? That's the battle of West and West, the battle of the West, Eels versus Panthers. So probably, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think the Eels are a team that are going to keep putting out good performances. I think you're going to see them. They got enough talent that they can put them on against shit teams, but I reckon once a bit of pressure gets put on them, they're just going to crumble. And
100% agree.
I think Panthers might put a bit of pressure on them. I've got Cleary as captain. I think he's the obvious choice because he's just sort of good. I've gone Reece Walsh as my vice captain at the moment. I brought him in a couple of weeks back as a bit of a pod play, and he's been really good for me so far.
You were in 6 to midnight in that first half last week. Like,
there's been a couple of them that you've been like, oof. Problem is I thought Broncos were going to look a lot better. I didn't think they're going to lose most of their squad, but he's just so talented, right? So you just got to trust in your talented players. Cleary, my captain. I did consider vice captaining, and this is what I might talk to you about, is someone like a Damien Cook sort of type player instead, maybe even Olu Kawatu against the Raiders. Would you consider vice captaining like one of them instead of Walsh?
Not so much Damien Cook, but who was against the Raiders?
Olu Kawatu or Garrick?
See, I don't know. Like, Sag thinks that game's going to be like a high attacking game, like with free flowing footy. I see like a grit match. I see gritty down at GIO. Like, Raiders will want to hold on. They'll certainly be up for it at home. Manly coming off the bye though, so like that's the thing. And they did have also a big game last week, Raiders. So it honestly could be anything, my friend. There.
Yeah, I'll probably just keep it at Walsh because he's the most.
You're not doing Cookie against a Storm. I don't
know. But it's just like, I actually thought I'd
playing great football, but I just the Storm are good. And after losing to the Dragons, like, fuck, I would not want to be a player on the Melbourne Storm going to training with a whole fucking bellyache this week. Like,
actually, I thought I had Harry Grant, and I went up to say Harry Grant against the Rabbits, but I've got Harry Grant and Rosie's team. And I saw I have Damien Cook on my team, so I just say Cookie, and then I went up to Olu Kawatu quite quickly. But no, you rounded back there. But I'll definitely wouldn't do Cookie. But if you do have Harry Grant,
even if you brought in David Fafita against the Sharks without Trindle, like they could fucking absolutely collapse there.
But like, would I use a trade like to get David Fafita in my team? I know you're not talking about me. If you have him, great. But I'm considering bringing him in. But to get him in, I'd have to sell Hearts for like a Willison to get me enough money to then go up from, like a Toa or like someone like that. And I just don't think that's probably worth it to bring him in. Like for someone like me, you know what I mean? Would you sell a Katoa for Dave Fafita if it was your last trade? US, can you hear me?
Roll the dice, baby.
I
was thinking, No, I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't mind the
Yeah,
play.
you know what I mean? Like it's sort of interesting.
It all just depends. It all just depends on your depth. Like I feel really comfortable to spend my trades because I know, like, all right, like if Nathan Cleary goes out, Jerome Hughes goes in, right? If Munster goes out, Jaden Campbell goes in. I've got 6 solid center wings.
Are you not worried though that, like, let's say that happens, Hughes goes in, but there's Storm are most likely going to rest Hughes at the end of the year?
No, because
that shit's worrying me.
Danny Levi, like, if he's out, like my AE's a juice, like kind of thing. Well, like Ruben Porter, juice, but like, you know, he's solid for a 40-50. If Danny Levi goes out, I don't have a 10 in my team. Like I've nuffed smartly, and I've just got people there that will score like between 40 and 50, right? Like that's just like their role. Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. But I don't know. Everything for me is overall. Mate, have you got anything else to leave the war rumors with?
It's sort of opposite to you. I'm more on the patient side now. Like, I'd still like to keep a couple of trades up my sleeve on the just in case. But I do like how you're on the other roll the dice side. I do want to be on that side.
For me, there's no point in saving them. Like, right, if I drop out of the top 1,000, it's like round 26. It's like it's kind of too late to do anything. Like now is my time to make my moves and hope for the best. Right? You can't predict anything. Injuries are going to happen in our game. I just hope they're not to any of my fucking players.
It's finally just sort of hit me that you're. And I know you've said it 3 times, but you'll definitely have that mind frame of like, all right, top 500, top 1,000. I've got to make sure that my foot's put on the throat and I've got to keep it there. Whereas in my head, I'm too much thinking of this one-on-one sort of situation week by week. Doesn't matter what happens in my overall score as long as I beat him. Like even if I score 900, he scores 800. I'd rather that and me keep 2 trades than me score 1,100 and him score 900. You know what I mean? It's just that we're both looking at it from different angles.
I don't win my cashies. Like the top, I don't care. Like the top 1,000 is where I'm at, right? So that's what I'm aiming for.
And I guess that's what we leave the war room is that, you know, look at your position, look at what you really want this time of year. The other one will just be a byproduct of what you do. But if you are looking at your cashies, you've got some big league ones. Look at your opponent. If you need to trade to beat that person, then trade. If you can think you can beat them and still hold your trades, hold those trades because that could come in handy if Carnage does happen and you're able to trade the right people. You can keep the matchups you want and just trade whoever you want against your opponents on the last rounds and maybe win those cashies. So
and that's 100%. Like if you're sitting 20,000, even 10,000, like I really feel at this stage of thing, you want to save those and you want to fuck their matchups up for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, War Rumors, if you stayed with us this long, not only during this episode, but also this season, we absolutely salute you. We certainly noticed with our downloads that, you know, people are less interested on the run home unless they're doing well kind of thing to listen in. But look, it's been a crazy season. Before we leave, Strasbourg, have you got like one takeaway or one lesson from this season that you'll be taking in the 2025 season?
I got the lesson, but I won't be taking it into the 25 season. And that's save the trades, baby, and be patient. That's always the lesson, but it won't be coming with me into the season. Trade hard, trade often. That's super coach, baby. Let's do it.
That is super coach, my friend. I definitely think I'll stick to my strategy next year of like not trying to have too much influence me. Like watch the games, like you know, identify players that you think, fuck, he's playing well, and then back that gut, right? Like back that gut. As we say every fucking year, in the war room. Oh, does it get better?
Hey. Goodbye. I actually went back and watched it again recently.
Dude, I reckon I did like 4 or 5 months ago. Fuck, it is so good. It is so good. Like, it doesn't get better. Like, remember
with NFL season around the corner.
Yeah, in the birthing suite, me and Brogues, we were talking about Adam Sandler movies, and I brought up like Longest Yard, and she was like, "I don't forget this is an Adam Sandler movie, one of the greatest as well." Like Longest Yard. So, not to forget about that bad break. What was that rugby league movie that they bought out with that Asian guy, like that Australian one? Like him and his mates backyard footy, he had to win the money to save his nan or some shit.
I was
Right,
just talking about that the other day with someone.
I watched for a while.
Aussie Legends or something, Footy Legends or something.
Yeah, so I might have to go back and give that a watch while I'm on Pat leave. Mate, it has been great as always. Always enjoy the show with you. War Rumors, we are out. Good luck for round 24, 23? 23. 23.
Round 23.